Today's March 13th. Today's quote is entitled, "Things that held you down." Things that held you down will one day hold you up. This was a quote from a man who went through a very, very difficult life. His mother abused him. I can't even describe how bad it was because it'll make you cry. It was so bad, so unfair, so unjust, and so crazy. And when he was an older man, his life was basically destroyed because he was so full of hate because of the way he was treated. And he went to prison many times, and in prison they put him through therapy, and they said, "Could you have done what your mother did to you? Could you have done that to other people?" And the fact is, he did do that to other people, even worse. And that turned him around, that one question. And then he realized that in forgiving his mother for what she had done, he had become a new person, renewed, strong, different. He had grown tremendously. So he said, therefore, the very thing that held you down, which was her behavior, was the very thing that made me strong, because when I was able to forgive her for her behavior, then I became another person. And I was thinking today a very important thought, which could be another quote, but we'll share it here. A lot of times we're chanting our rounds, and we're not really chanting. We're not really praying, just trying to get our rounds done. We all know this. But when life is difficult, that's the time we have some really good rounds. But we should always be chanting that way. We should always be thinking that life is miserable, not just when it is miserable, but we should always be thinking it is miserable. And I should always be chanting, praying to Krishna to help me transcend the miseries of my mind and body and the whole world and the whole thing. And if we don't pray that way, if we become comfortable, then Krishna has to poke us a little bit to get us now again connected with some suffering that causes us to chant properly. Right? Oh, now I'm chanting seriously because life is difficult. Well, if you just chant seriously, Krishna doesn't have to make your life difficult. So difficulties we can see are quite necessary, and difficulties make us strong. So the very difficulty that just pushed us down and caused us so much trouble, when we deal with it, when we heal it, when we work with it, that difficulty then becomes the thing, it becomes our greatest strength. It becomes the thing that caused us to crash. That incident that caused us to crash, when turned around another way, that incident becomes the source of our strength. And so that's the way the world works. And Krishna will put us in situations where things are difficult so that we can use those difficulties, the things that cause us pain, we can use those to be Krishna conscious. But he doesn't have to do that. It's just because we're not aware of those miseries. We sometimes forget that Krishna has to remind us. So don't worry if things don't always go the way you want, and don't worry if things are difficult, but try to understand that sooner or later you're going to find out that the things that held you down, the things that hurt you the most, will become your greatest allies, will become the things that will give you the greatest strength.